You excited? Boom. Oh, John Wayne Cup.
Make sure I'll look like that. Here's the live now.
Oh my God. Hey, how's it going, guys? Got a real special video for you here today. I'm with John Wayne, a good friend of mine, colleague. I've worked with John Wayne for, well, how long have we been together now so far,
Almost
Johnny?
10 years, right?
Almost 10 years. God, this time
Tenure.
fly by.
Crazy.
People tell me how long I've known Johnny. I'm like, I can't be that long ago. But I got to say something. Out of all the people that I've met, he's got to be one of the most real people. He's definitely very, very congruent. And that's a quality that a lot of people don't really have, is a true sense of congruity, a true sense of realness. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about how I first realized John Wayne was special. And I mean special in a very good way, of course. We first started, and John Wayne had started putting some stuff out on YouTube. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. John Wayne's putting some stuff out on YouTube.
Oh, that's cute.
And I was like, what's YouTube? And you know, I've seen funny stuff on YouTube, and John Wayne's a funny guy. And it made sense to me. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. And then what started happening was I'd start talking to my clients, and they go, I love your YouTube videos. I learned so much from YouTube. And I'm like, from our YouTube, we have a very, very expensive training program that we invested a ton of money into, and you're learning more on YouTube from just John Wayne stuff that he puts on YouTube. And I started to realize what was there and why people were having this connection with John Wayne. And it wasn't because he had content that was unbelievably unique. I mean, it was great content. But mostly what it was Johnny had an ability to take something that was very complex and make it simple, but also make it engaging. People were enjoying watching the videos. How many people have you told you to watch your stuff more than once?
Oh, yeah. I get people that say they put it on first thing in the morning. One woman said that I put her to sleep at night. She listens to my videos until she goes, my husband hates your voice because that's all he hears is me listening to your videos until I go to sleep.
I've listened to him a couple times too, and it's sometimes I hear it and I'm like, I know the exact content, but I'm compelled to listen again. I want to hear it again, and I make new distinctions every time that I hear some of the stuff you talk about. And I know the energy, like when you're in your group trainings, the energy is just unbelievable. When you have 2 or 3 people on there that have gotten a contract the same week, their first contract, and they're just jumping up and down with excitement.
Some of them just won the contract an hour before they got on the training, so they're still amped and pumped. And
yeah. It's just getting involved with that. It kind of makes you feel like a kid again sometimes to see adults, grown adults, that excited when they get on your training.
Yeah.
But kind of what I want to do is start, just give you a little background on Johnny real quick. But what do you think drives you, Johnny? Why are you having so much fun and getting people so engaged and getting people to be successful getting contracts? What drives you? What's that inside of you that really takes you to that next level and allows you to deliver for these people? Because, I mean, you frickin' deliver for these people.
I think I've come to the conclusion, and I should write a book. There's 2 types of people in the world. There's people that are in it, they're part of the team, and there's people that are in it for themselves.
Yeah.
And some of those people that are in it for themselves don't know it, but
Yeah.
some of those people that are in it for themselves know it, and they take pride in it, and they go out of their way to make sure that everything is about them.
Yeah.
They're going to make the most money. They'll lie, cheat, steal, whatever they have to do. So I think the thing that drives me is, helping people win contracts,
Yeah.
or be a better person, of course. But it's them saying thank you and wow, your videos are great, man. I love the way you sing, and I love the sound of your voice. I like that feedback. I like that. It's respect, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feed off that. Some people love money. Some people love people. Don't get me wrong, I like money, but I'm more of a people person, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So you like helping people. It's not just helping one person or 2 people. That's why you like to do videos and group trainings and really engage with people. I mean, you love doing one-on-one.
Right.
That's what everybody requests all the time is, how can I get one-on-one time with Johnny? And I'm like, well, Johnny loves doing one-on-one, but he'd rather
Help more people.
Yeah, 30 or 40 people, have a group session and let the energy kind of feed and stuff like that. But you do great one-on-one. People love your one-on-one stuff. Especially, what's funny about some of the one-on-one stuff that you've done is people notice it helps their regular business a lot more than it even helps them federally sometimes, that they realize. They notice immediate gains in the regular business.
Yeah, last client that did the coaching, I spent an hour with him on Thursday and an hour with him the following Monday, and his business has increased by 50%. 6 months later, he calls me back and says, man, I've been so busy. I'm ready to do a government contract now. He hasn't even bothered to bid on government contracts because I increased his regular business by 50% in 2 hours.
2 hours. Man.
And he still has 4 hours left on his package that he hasn't used yet.
Yeah. And that's what's funny about just coaching in general. It's normally the simplest things, but you take it and you make it more top of mind so they know what to focus on, which is huge. So you look at what drives a guy like Johnny. He's not in it for the money. He's here to really serve and to help people. And he's got a ton of energy. And it bleeds through when you're doing training calls. I mean, you guys are all so lucky that you're on this call because you're all new clients with us. You get access to a bunch of John Wayne's content that's inside of APP where you can visually see some of this stuff. But we're going to get, now I want to kind of dive a little bit deep into this and kind of give you guys a lot of value. I want to kind of take what Johnny's learned over the last 10 years that he's been doing this at a very, very high level, both in a one-on-one environment with some of the most successful businesses out there. I mean, we work with companies like Amazon Web Services, General Electric, Hilton Hotels. I mean, you name it. We've worked with some ginormous companies. And when you're a guy like Johnny, you get to get inside and help work with those companies, you really glisten a lot of things. And he's got a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge than even the most successful vendor can get on his own because he only sees one type of contract and only works in one type of space. Versus Johnny's able to see everything. And he's able to watch the car kind of driving from a third-person point of view and see things even the person driving doesn't get. So you'll be really amazed at the kind of knowledge he has. He blows me away every time. But this is what, we were kind of talking a little bit earlier, and we're like, what really, really, really drives it? And the more we come back and keep coming to it's what are the characteristics that really make a federal vendor successful? What do those vendors have? And the reason we're asking this question is we don't want to so much just know to know. We want to know, hey, what do they have? And then also, is there any way to instill those into people? And what we're going to kind of go over is this mindset, and this is the most important piece because without this, all the training, all the knowledge, all the everything won't do anything. So, Johnny, what do you think are the characteristics that really make a federal vendor successful?
Well, it depends on the type of vendor. We've got typically 3 types of people that come to us. We have contractors that are already doing government work.
Yeah.
So they know it's possible.
Yeah.
And they've already won a couple, so they know it's just a matter of learning more and using the system properly to win more.
Yeah.
We have clients that come to us who have never won a government contract, but they know they can.
Yeah.
They've got that, either they work as a subcontractor for a prime, and the prime's an idiot. If that guy can do it, I can do it. Or they worked for a company that did it, and they sold the contracts and went out on their own. The third client we have are the types of clients that maybe they're in business or maybe they're not. I mean, we've had startup companies win government contracts. Remember that kid dropped out of high school? Became a broker.
We probably shouldn't say his name.
He don't like us bragging, but he's got no business being in business, but he won government contracts and he's doing very well with it. So
I remember the truckless trucker.
Yeah, we had a truck driver with no truck,
but he ended up getting a contract too.
Won a contract. Some of these guys have no business being in business. So whether you're a startup or you've been in business or you don't think you can do it or you're scared of doing it, we get all those 3 types of vendors that come to us.
Yeah.
The main thing is getting the confidence and using the system properly, getting registered properly. So it's registration, education, and motivation. That's the 3 things that you need. But you got to have that mindset that you can do this.
Yeah.
And you can. Anyone can win government contracts. It's mind-boggling. Some of the people that have won them. When I joke and say they have no business being in business, I mean some of these guys have no business being in business. Yeah. But they've learned and they won. Eventually you'll get one.
You'll get one. And it's not just knowing that they're going to get one. It's knowing that they're going to be a high level and a very high success, like a very successful federal vendor. Yeah. The people that do it, it's not just one contract they're going to get. They're thinking, I'm going to get multiple contracts. I'm going to take over this world. I mean, when I look at one of the vendors that we have that's very successful, he's on almost all the training calls. He's always bragging about how great you are for one and how great he is for two. Mm-hmm. I love the guy. He's got more energy than I've ever seen out of any human being. But he is so focused and he knows his end game. He knows where he's going. He knows his outcome. And he's not scared of anything. He's fearless. And that gentleman, you probably know who he is. How long did it take him to get contracts? Without me even saying his name, how many did he go through before he got one?
I think he submitted 28 bids before he won his first one.
28 bids. And this gentleman now is actually turning away contracts because he'll win 5 or 6 or 7 and sometimes one session.
Yeah, he said, I basically quit looking. Most of these purchasing officers are just reaching out to him because he's done a good job. He's built those relationships. He's gotten good scores. So they just come to him now and say, hey, do you want to do this? And he says, I'll do it for X number of dollars, but I'm not doing it for less because I got 8 of the contracts I'm doing at 40% markup. Yeah. So he's literally turning down more contracts than he's accepting now, simply because the profit margins aren't high enough for him.
And think about that characteristic that guy had when he started. He was able to get turned down 28 times before it made sense, before he got the first one.
Yeah.
He wasn't scared. He knew his outcome. He knew that with every failure, he was learning something. No matter what that person did, he was always moving forward in the right direction. He was learning more and more. But another thing was he on every call that you had?
Every call.
Every call.
Every training, every call. Anytime he could absorb, even if he didn't have a question or a bid to work on, a proposal solicitation, he would still get on and listen. Mm-hmm. And he would ask other people questions. When someone got on, hey, I won my first question, he'd ask them, what did you do? What did you sell? How did you do it? Just really inquisitive and learned.
He was learning, but more what he was soaking out of them was that confidence, and he was making his vision for his company more clear by using what other people did in that training and that energy, saying, look, I know I can really get there. I know I've missed a few, but I can get there. But in all reality, 28 bids is really not that many to lose, because now that he's gone through that and he's gotten awarded a few, his close ratio is not 1 in 28 anymore, is it?
No, it's 1 in 2. It's actually less than that. It's negative because he's turning down more than he's taking on.
One of the things that Johnny told me that made a lot of sense to me is it's how many bids are you going to submit over the first year, not how many bids you're going to submit until you get your first contract. Because you might submit 28 bids and get 1 contract, but over the whole year you might submit 40 bids and get 10 contracts, if that makes sense, right? Because depending on your close ratio, it's just until you get the first one, you're going to do a lot more learning.
Well, if any of you guys have ever done state or county or city contracts, there's 30, 40, even 50 bidders on those. There's huge number of offers received. With federal contracts, there's really more than 3 to 5 because that's all they require. Yeah. In most cases, is a minimum of 3 to 5. Yeah, and a lot of people are intimidated of the federal space. Even people that pay us a lot of money, they come on the trainings and they're intimidated. They're like, I don't think I can do this. This seems scary for me. And they've paid money, and they have John Wayne, and they have us. They have every team that they could imagine, and they're still a little nervous. That's one of the 3 people that come to us. They're terrified. They just selling to the government is a scary thing. Well, they think it's impossible. There's no way they can do it.
And that's what you're doing on those training calls. And you'll see a lot of it, too, as you watch the videos that are inside APP, too. But you'll start to really experience that growth of you as a person and just not being scared. And that transfers, too, into all your whole business. That mindset that you're a champion and you're a winner is what Johnny's focuses all these trainings on instilling. And, I still get on the trainings all the time just because I'm like, I want to hear one of our happy clients. I had a day where one of our clients wasn't so happy with me, and I had to talk to him, and I said, let me get on John Wayne training and just get some of that energy and soak some of that energy up and some of that confidence. And it's just amazing how good it feels to say, man, I work for a company where we're helping people, and just seeing people that excited, because it reminds me of little kids jumping around in a playground sometimes when they get a contract like that. But the next thing I want to kind of go into, Johnny, is I think this is one of the most important thing is, what we focus on is kind of where we go. If we focus on things that are great in life tends to be great. Yep. If we focus on things that are bad, life tends to be bad. We all know that. We all have to occasionally catch ourselves and go, no, don't do that. But what do you think? I think personally that I want to get your opinion on this too, but I think the questions that we ask inside ourselves every day really determine the path that we're on or the life that we're on, but also where we're at with our business.
Right.
Okay, so what do you think are those questions? Like if you go back and you look at one of those vendors like Clay that was very successful, what do you think the questions he's asking himself when he's looking at working with the federal government? What are the kind of questions he might be asking himself?
You got to look at, why did I start this business to begin with? What was my drive 5 years ago when I started this company?
So revisiting that old drive is really, really important because you want to find that. You want to find as much energy as you can before you start even tackling.
Yeah, what was my plan? Was I going to build $1 billion corporation, or was I going to build a nice family business that I can pass on to my kids? Yeah. What was your original plan? What drove you to begin with? Because starting a business is a risk. It's just like anything in life. There's a lot of risk, but why did you start to begin with? You got to revisit that. And why are you looking at government contracts now? Are you at a stalemate? Are you, hitting $200,000 a year and you can't go past that, and you want to double that or triple that, or you want to make $1 million a year? Why did you start to begin with, and where are you looking to go? And then you can figure out, how am I going to get there?
Yeah. So start with that energy, but like some of the stuff that I remember you telling me about. Was it's not just they're looking how can I get one contract and make some money to pay obviously the fees that they've paid us too. Some people are like, I want to get that paid off right away, which I can understand. I'd be the same way if I was a business owner. I'd be like, I made this investment.
ROI is always the first step. You got to get a return on your investment.
But they chase that ROI. But the guys that really kill it are asking the question, how can I dominate this space? Why is it that one vendor is making $800 million a year and I'm making nothing? What's the difference between the two? And they kind asking, how do I model this guy? How do I do with this guy? That's kind of what you were kind of explaining to me.
Yeah.
And they're not just looking at one opportunity or two opportunities. They're looking like the next 5 years, 10 years federally. And then they're looking at what's the transition point. Maybe I'll pass this on to my sons, right, for the legacy effect, or maybe I'll sell the company. They always have a much larger goal in mind and a much more defined end game, I believe, right?
Yeah, and you know, your what drives you could for some people it's money, some people it's helping people. We had one woman-owned business came to us, and in the training she said, John Wayne, one of my competitors won a FEMA contract, and that lives in a mansion on the hill now. And that guy has no business being in business. He's a jerk. He does horrible work. He's got a horrible reputation. But he won one FEMA contract, stole the company, lives in a mansion on the hill now. Why can't I do that?
Yeah. That's a good question to ask is, I mean, why am I not taking my business to the level everybody else is?
Right.
Because the guys that are really successful, they're not looking at life the same way. They're not saying, how can I make enough money to pay my bills, or how can I not take any risk at all in my business? They're asking the questions, how do I get to that next level? Why does this guy have all and I don't?
Right.
Why is it that every time I pick up the newspaper right now, the Dow Jones Industrial is through the roof? Best times ever, lowest on, and then I'm looking at my bank account and I'm saying, I'm doing okay, but I don't really have enough to just, I really don't have enough to give my employees all the raises that I'd like to give them. I don't have enough to expand the way I want to. But asking the questions of looking at who's really, really successful in the field and how can I do more of what they're doing, or what did they do? I think that gets them going too. And then they're looking at an $800 million target instead of looking like, let me make $30,000 so I can make a reasonable return on the investment I paid with you guys to get started. But I want you guys to know that you don't have to get on the we'd love to have you on the trainings. We'd love to have you be part of that and see that energy and everything like that. But in all reality, you can control a lot of the questions, and you can also control a lot of the characteristics that you put into yourself, that's in your business, if that makes sense. So I want you guys just to always be thinking, what are the questions you're asking in your head as you're looking at working in federal contracting? And if those questions are big questions that excite you and drive you and get you to the point where you can be at that mansion on the hill one day, or you can have a business that you're really, really, really proud of, this is what this opportunity is about. Federal contracting is not for the guy that's small. That's like city contracting, county contracting, state contract. That's for the guy that's not thinking as big.
Right.
When you're thinking federally, you're saying, look, I want to get in with the biggest buyer in the world. How can I scale this? How can I take this to the next level? How can I become a distributor?
A recession-proof buyer, by the way.
Yeah.
Because state contracts, federal, they run out of money. They run out of money. Feds never run out of money.
They never
print more.
It's amazing how you talk about just that. And that it can be the biggest difference ever, because when I came to the work here, that we were in a recession. Mm-hmm. And people were scared. And I remember that feeling, because I remember feeling it, because you talk to several hundred people that are scared like that. It burns a deep mark on you. And a lot of them I came to, I said, I wish you would have come to us sooner, like what you guys are doing right now. You guys took the time. I want to congratulate you on doing that and making the investment right now to have something that when you do have the next recession, you've already got the past performance there. Because it's coming. Winter's coming. We know the next season's coming. But you're already making the steps to get there for that.
Yeah, and the physical budget starts October 1st, too, so this is the perfect time of the year.
Perfect time of the year. What do you think? I mean, because you're the funnest guy I know, to be honest with you. I come in one day to my office, and, I got a glass window, and I'm just sitting there talking on the phone to a client. All of a sudden, a giant, spitball comes and hits the window. And I look out and say, who did that? And then you see John Wayne over there goofing around.
I'm on the phone.
He's that kind of guy that just makes work fun. And sometimes you're like, ah. But then, as I got older and I realized that, hey, life doesn't need to be so serious because it's no fun. The more you remember, the kids at the playground are the happiest. And John Wayne brings out the kid in me, and he brings out the kid in her team. And I know he brings out the kid in her clients. But what do you think makes federal contracting fun? And, how do you keep it exciting for your clients? And what do you do just to keep that mindset? Because if it's fun and you're excited about it, there's no limits to what we can do.
You got to have fun in life. Otherwise, there's no sense living. You only live once. I think the best part about, obviously winning contracts and making money and being successful and all that's great. But I challenge you guys to do this from now on. When you meet someone who's successful, do yourself a favor and ask them one question. If you don't ask them anything, ask them this one question. Did you get one opportunity that changed your life? 99.9% of the time, they're going to say, yeah. We landed this one contract, and from then on out, it was all downhill. It was so easy from there because we won that one contract. It only takes one opportunity to change your life. And you ask any successful person that in the future, and they'll tell you, I ask them all the time, and 99.9% of them tell me, yeah, we won this one contract, or I attended this one seminar, my mom taught me something. It only takes one opportunity to change your life.
One opportunity, or one thought that's top of mind, right? Because we all know a lot of things, but where is it at? Mm-hmm. Is it top of mind or not?
When you get someone that says, you know a lot, you've probably forgotten more than I'll ever learn. Yeah. It could be the case, but it's the stuff that we forget. Yeah. Those are the little things that are the typical reasons why people win contracts. It's those little things, or why they lose contracts. It's those little things that they forgot.
Yeah.
And then they're kicking themselves in the rear going, man, I would have won that if I would have just remembered to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Why would I forget that? It's so simple.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too, like I remember you talking about this on one of your trainings, is just get to the point where you really enjoy interacting with the purchasing officers, the contracting officers. I mean, because you just having a conversation, those guys have a lot of experience. A lot of them are, past military guys. I mean, it just could be a big, especially some of our vets, their clients that are vets, just to be able to have that connection and talk. And there's a lot more fun that happens than the money.
Yeah.
Just having that interaction with some of these guys, because they're just brilliant guys. I mean,
and know how to communicate with them properly. That's a big key too. I've seen people lose contracts from over communicating or not communicating properly.
And then sometimes you'll talk to a contracting officer, and he doesn't award anything in your industry at all, or he just has one contract in your industry, and you submitted the bid, and he's reaching back out to you. But you could learn something from him and take something away, take a distinction away that can add to your confidence and add to how you work, later on down the line, that can be invaluable, right?
Right.
So just try to learn on every interaction. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Sure. Always ask for a tip, advice. Especially from purchasing officers or from primes when you're looking to do subcontracts. If they have nothing for you, ask them for a tip. We're new to government contracting. Can you give me some advice? Yeah. Because some people love to give advice. And if they give you advice, now they have an invested interest in you. They're going to want you to win a contract now.
People want to help people. And when you have somebody that's mentoring you or helping you at that high level, even for one interaction, it can make a huge difference. Yeah. So we're going to get into, because the main reason you guys are all here is to, since you're new to working with U.S. Federal Contractor Registration, we're going to go through and show you how to work APP, which is where a lot of John Wayne's training stuff is. Some of his best stuff is in there. Also, how to get set up for bid alerts and all the stuff that's fun and exciting that you really need to have to really take your business to the next level. But before we finish, I want to say, what is one thing that if you could instill in a new vendor, somebody that's just starting to work with the federal government, or even somebody that's been doing it for a few years, what's one thing you think you'd really want to put into them?
Know you can do this. That's simple. Know in your mind, in your heart, in your soul that you can do this. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. If you do it properly, you do it the right way, you're going to win contracts. You're going to build these relationships. It's going to grow. And there's no limit with the federal government. It's the largest buyer in the world, the most recession-proof buyer in the world. Just know that you can do it with the right knowledge and assistance and help and getting registered properly, education and motivation. You can do this. Just know that. Don't be afraid. It's the federal government. It seems scary and intimidating, but it's not. There's so many people that are doing it that have no business being in business, and they're doing it. You just need to know how and why and run with it.
Yeah, and that's going to help them throughout their regular business lives too, and their personal life and everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is that big goal that a lot of people, business owners need, because they've mastered what they do currently. Yeah, and they're bored. I mean, I can't tell you how many business owners I talk to that are freaking bored. I mean, they're literally trying to they're not intentionally doing it, but they're trying to put their business out of business because they don't care. They're not passionate about it. Their people aren't passionate about it. They're just there to do it. But then when they get mixed up with federal contracting and they get a hold of a guy like John Wayne, or they get a hold of us and we get a new, just instill something in them that they're hungry again.
Yeah.
And that hunger, man, like Johnny says, he'll get them on a coaching call and then they'll be like, dude, you just lit up my regular business.
Yeah, no, this isn't just about every one of my coaching clients have told me that I've helped them increase their regular business outside of the federal arena. I
know. So much to the point sometimes they're having trouble even get to really kick the federal stuff off yet. They're like, Johnny, we're going to do that, but I'm loving what you just got me going, because John spends a little bit of time on the regular business, because what he's realized is if your regular business isn't perfect yet, it's harder to get federal work. So he says, let's just spend a little bit of time in, just a couple hours and get your regular business perfect.
If you're making mistakes, if you're making basic mistakes across the board, you can still win government contracts, but you're not going to win as many. So if I can teach you to stop making the basic mistakes, you're going to win more. Yeah. And it's going to affect your regular business, your state, local, county, city government, across the board, commercial, residential, industrial, all the above. Better relationships with your employees, better relationships with your clients. And once you get to that point where it's really working, you will love going to work. You will want to get up extra early and go in. You'll look forward to Mondays instead of looking forward to Fridays. I promise you.
I do. I know I do when I started having that new focus and just it got me so much more passionate about what I do, just seeing people interact with John Wayne the way they do on those calls. But you guys, John did an amazing video last week too. I think if you go on our YouTube channel, you can see it if you haven't already watched it. You interviewed John Conway.
Yes.
A former contracting officer representative.
He's phenomenal. He's got
do yourself a favor,
world
guys.
knowledge.
Watch that. That video is worth thousands of dollars. It's on YouTube for just totally complimentary. There's also a couple other videos with 3 reasons why businesses that aren't operating at their highest level, what they're doing. There's also a live event next week. I guess you're going to be interviewing Kelly Johnson.
Oh, she's awesome.
Kelly's one of our case managers here. She does the paperwork. You may be blessed and lucky enough to have her actually do your work. If you do, she's got the greatest story ever. She's a veteran. She's part of an organization that's all about helping homeless women that were veterans, and she was too once a homeless. She was once homeless, and she's a veteran. So she's actually in a beauty pageant, right? Mm-hmm. And this is in I think 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, Miss Veteran.
Miss Veteran. She's up for winning Miss Veteran. So just an amazing person, just a true champion. Somebody that she's got 2 kids, and nothing stops her. Absolutely nothing. Single mother of 2 children. Yeah. Has her kids full time.
Always has a smile on her face.
Does whatever it takes for her clients. Yep. I mean, she's passionate about what she does. But now we're going to get into the video. We're going to get into APP training, right? Right,
yeah. One more thing though.
Okay.
Guys, don't ever stop learning. Okay. People tell me I know. Man, you know everything. I don't. Every week I learn something new. Every week I learn something new from one of my clients, one of my coworkers. You can't stop learning. Doctors, attorneys, they do continuing education. They always keep learning because it takes one little thing or one thing you forgot or one little thing you don't know that can cost you a contract. But it also takes one little thing that you forgot or one little thing you don't know that can help you win a contract. So don't stop learning, guys. Whether you use us or not, don't stop learning.
Don't stop. Well, you get us. We're in APP, so don't forget. That's free. That's included. Use that.
He's awesome.
APP is good. You got a lot of John Wayne in there. All right, we're going to go on to the APP video now, guys. All right? Thank you, guys.